So if you've been following this channel, I talk a lot about the in-between space, the space of instability from which you can harness a different type of power, an inner power, connect with that inner strength, which I feel comes from a divine source, but you can call it what you want, God, life, the universe, which is a place where you can connect to, you have the opportunity to connect to if things are not going perfectly right in your life, or at least you have an opportunity to do that in these moments, these in-between moments. And I want to talk about some of those forces that actually keep you in the stability and not let you go to this place. So if we've established, at least I've for myself established, and some of the people that are watching me here also have resonated with the idea that this in-between space is actually not something to quickly get through, but perhaps an opportunity, then the place where there is the opposite of that, the forces that keep you in this somebody else's vision, or a place that's not completely in your power, or maybe struggling with the power structures instead of your own power, like always fighting. So basically the places that enforce this stability, or I don't even know if I want to call it stability, but it's somehow society's definition of stability. I think the real stability is the inner one, but society's definition of stability, where you have all these things in your life checked off. So some of those things, one of those things that keeps you in that place, I've noticed, is our dependence, increasing dependence on AI tools. And I'm not talking across the board, so please don't take me to the extreme here. I want to give one specific example of what I've seen. So I don't know other examples of where AI has helped, or has been a tool that's served its purpose. I use it for doing these thumbnail images. I don't use it for my writing. I used to, and then I realized what it was doing is actually taking me away from my authentic voice, so I stopped. But that's the power of AI, is that it helps you reach a place of certainty. It helps you with your doubt, self-doubt, and inability to be in the unknown. But on the other hand, it takes away from this opportunity that I'm always talking about here. So I see some friends of mine that sometimes have these situations where they're not quite sure what to do or how to think of a situation, and they want to get more perspectives, and they go to Claude or ChatGPT, or they get an opinion. Now, what this does, of course, it gives some sense of stability or some sense of perspective in hearing someone else provide their perspective, but it really takes away from that confusion period, which people say, oh, but that's good. Why would you want to keep people in confusion? But it's not just confusion for the sake of confusion, but that place where you're not quite sure what to do and you don't know how to navigate the situation is actually really important, because you can tap into your soul's calling. And when things are not so perfectly aligned and you don't have the solution for everything, then you got to go deeper. And the deeper is usually beyond the mind and into something that helps you meet something deeper in yourself, which is not a thought, maybe an emotion that comes out of a thought, but not the thought itself. So AI tools sometimes don't allow us to get into that emotional space, because they talk about it as if they can even give you the advice, yes, you should sit with this emotion, but they don't actually help you do it, because they take away the period of doubt and confusion and uncertainty that might actually give you be the triggers for you to go inwards. So I wouldn't trust necessarily these tools. Maybe for like a short term, how long should I boil my eggs? And then on the other hand, maybe that is also an opportunity to call a friend we haven't heard from in a while and ask them, how long does it take to make hard-boiled eggs? Okay, I know this is an example. I should know. But maybe in that conversation, you find out something else about that friend, or something else opens up, or you connect in a different way. So it just cuts off these connections. And this, in the case of the hard-boiled eggs, it's a connection to someone else, but really it's a connection to yourself. And we start to give our power to the machine. And now we're in a crossroads. Are we going to give our power to the machine, or are we going to give our power inwards to God, to ourselves? And this is these little small things that we do can help us decide which way to go. And they may be small things. I'm just going to ask. I'm just going to ask for ChatGPT's opinion about this opinion. But you are giving your power to the machine-like human. And people say, "Oh, there's no avoiding this. We're going that way." But there are small things you can do to keep yourself in your own power, and that's a really important distinction, I think, to make. So that's what I wanted to bring into the light today. Namaste.